And I hope you're having an amazing day. If you're here watching live on Facebook, or you're watching this on YouTube, or you are listening on iTunes, I want to welcome you and I celebrate you. My name is Susan Sly, and on Bulletproof Monday, these Mondays are designed to help solopreneurs, small business owners, people crushing it in the U economy, just really level up. So I teach mindset and tactics to help you grow and scale your business. And with that, I want to get right into it. So today we're going to talk about the value proposition, and essentially what are you doing to bring unique value to the market and set yourself apart. We're going to talk about the red ocean. We're going to talk about the blue ocean. I'm going to give you 5 ways to help discover your value proposition and get it out there to market. So a couple of quick announcements. Number 1, next Monday night, I am doing a free masterclass on, get this, how to build your business using master classes. So regardless of the industry you're in, whether you are a life coach or an accountant or whatever it is you do, you want to be an influencer, using master classes is a great way to grow and scale your business. So I'm going to share with you how I do it totally free. Go to susansmasterclass.com. You can sign up for that. If you are not able to be on live, guess what? You will get the recording if you opt in. So check that out. Number 2, I'm doing an event here in Phoenix called Only 4 Days. That is September. Listen to me. It is August. No, it's April. Oh my goodness. It's April 25th to 28th. And it is going to be amazing. You're going to learn how to build sales pages and email funnels, and even how to build a website. If you want to build your own website and plug in e-commerce, you're going to learn copywriting. It is an immersive event. So what's going to happen is you're going to learn, and then you're going to apply it. And then we're going to review your work with our certified coaches. We have mindset coaches coming in. JJ Burden, former NFL player, he's going to be there. Todd Boffo, he's an amazing, no-nonsense New Jersey speaker, incredible influencer. He's doing a whole piece on how to leave the past in the past. I'm going to be teaching NLP copy. My goodness. Oh my gosh. If you're here live, I hope you're laughing at me because I'm laughing at myself. Oh my, new teeth. Just kidding. It's not new teeth. It's just me. Anyway, I must not have hydrated too well after hot yoga this morning. Anyway, Brennan Agronoff, he was a millionaire at 16. He started a company called Hoop Swag. He's now all of 18 years old. He's going to talk about Gen Z, building a massive company. I mean, it's going to be incredible. So check it out, only4days.com. So let's get into the good stay. And I want to welcome you. If you are here live, I see Linda and Pat, Brian, Hadass, Hope. I love that you guys are here. There's so many of you who join every single Monday. You mark this in your calendar. And if you're listening or you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on iTunes, wherever it is you are, I do Bulletproof Monday every single Monday at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. That helps us be live. We have a lot of fans in the UK and Ireland. Shouts out to you guys. So anyway, let's get into the good. So if you're taking notes, these Mondays, it's a time I love to just train you for free and serve and give and hopefully assist you in taking what you're learning and use it to grow and scale your business. And business is hard at times. Oh my gosh. Like, whether it's life and kids and aging parents, or you're in Gen Z or Gen Z, I'm Canadian originally, Gen Z, millennial, and you've just got a lot of friends and life and student loans and things going on. It can be crazy at times, and it can be very easy to be distracted. And that's why when you're looking at your value proposition, you've got to be very focused. And that focus lies in, who are you? How do you set yourself apart? And why would people pay attention to you? So tell you a quick story. I have a friend, her name is Christine. She was one of the co-founders of GoDaddy, the website company. And Christine is a marketing genius. And I remember being at a party with her, and I said, so Christine, in your opinion, you helped grow this multi-million dollar company, and it was very focused on teaching people how to, use websites and really get their message to the market. What would you say is the most important thing when it comes to marketing? And Christine said, here's the thing, does it pass the dinner party test? And I said, what's that? And she said, would someone talk about your business at a dinner party? And I thought that was the best thing. And that's the question I have. Would someone talk about your business, and specifically you and your business, at a dinner party? And so if they were going to talk about it, the question is, why would they talk about it? And why they would talk about it is because you offer something unique in your marketplace that you can do that other people can't do like you. So let's get into it. And as I said, I always prepare some great tips for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is really this concept of standing out and just getting into the mindset. And then I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do to create your value proposition. But standing out is so important. There was a book that was written called Blue Ocean Strategies. If you've been coming to Bulletproof Monday, you know I talk about red ocean, blue ocean a lot. And what I want you to imagine is that social media is a red ocean. It's not 2008 anymore. So in 2008, if I was a weight loss coach, I could post a before and after picture of one of my clients, and suddenly I get all these leads. And that doesn't happen. Instagram, same thing. It's not 2016 anymore. In 2016, I'm the same weight loss coach. Now I'm focused on Instagram. I post a before and after picture of one of my clients, and suddenly I get all these leads. It's not that way, whether it's YouTube or it's LinkedIn, it's any platform. And the reason is because there are a lot of people on these platforms who all are creating their unique value proposition and trying to get their products and services to the market. Does that make sense? Does not. So it can be confusing. You're like, well, what do I do? Do I just do Facebook Lives, or do I just do YouTube, or do I just do LinkedIn, or what is it that I do? And it can become very, very overwhelming. And then you say, well, I'm just going to go old school, and I'm going to network. And that's all well and good, except 78% of people who you meet are going to check out your social media profile before they decide if they're going to do business with you. So you've got to set yourself apart. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And it can be daunting, especially if you're a person who doesn't love putting yourself out there. You're like, oh, Susan, I don't know. I don't like doing videos. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like, posting anything that's, just coming from my heart. And if you really want to grow a business, I don't care what kind of business you're in, you're going to have to get used to putting yourself out there and really sharing what makes you unique and special. And you don't have to do it in such a way that's boastful or bragging. And in fact, some of the biggest influencers on the planet, they don't brag about their skills at all. They let other people brag for them. Let me give you an example. Joel Osteen, he has done more to elevate Lakewood Church, that's his church, using a very unique value proposition. So for years, he's had his Joel Osteen podcast. He now has his Sirius XM channel. He has his emails. He has his app. He has his daily devotionals. My gosh, he has so many things. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian or what you believe. We're using Joel as an example because his unique value proposition is really about making people feel good. He doesn't do the old school religious kind of shaming you into believing in God. He's there to say, hey, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect, but you know what? Together we cannot be perfect, and Jesus still loves us. How cool is that? And what he's managed to do is generate millions and millions and millions of followers, more followers than people like Tony Robbins. He has more people following his Christian mission than Billy Graham even did. Joel Osteen's podcast is the #1 listened to podcast on iTunes. So when you start to think about that, it's not him going, I'm so great, I'm so great. It's because he has a unique value proposition. He is so consistent, and he lets his fans speak for his brand, which is exactly what you want to do. So with that, let's get into it. So the first thing to create your unique value proposition is really think about this. How do I add value? What is a value proposition? The value proposition is I am going to add value to you. And what am I going to add value to you with? I'm going to add value to you with maybe I'm a nutrition coach. It's going to be nutrition. Or maybe I'm an attorney and I'm going to give, hypothetical, legal tips on just people who are going through divorce. Maybe I'm a CPA and, I have a friend, he's a CPA. He just does celebrity athletes. That's his niche. So maybe he's going to create some amazing content just to help about that particular avatar. So thinking very deeply about who you want to add value to and what advice you could give to that particular individual if you were speaking to. So the first thing is about creating that free content for your ideal customer and client. So what does the free content look like? So I always take notes in my notebook. And you know, if you ever see me speak live at a big event, last week I spoke for the Infusionsoft by Keep conference. I'm speaking at Traffic and Conversion. Love those guys in San Diego. So I don't have notes on stage, but for you guys, it's like, yes, an audience of 20,000 people is amazing, but you guys are way more important to me than anyone because you show up here every single week and I want to get it right for you. So I actually take notes for you. And if you do want my notes, I do send them to my list. So go to susansly.com, sign up for my mailer. I'm not going to spam you, but I do send the notes out to you. All right, so the first thing when we're adding value, it's 80% free content and 20% sales content. And don't get that wrong. So many people are like, sell, sell, sell. Don't do that. You have to build that audience, build that following by creating a lot of free content. So the free content can look like videos. It can look like emails that have very interesting stuff in it. We just, at my digital agency, the Agency 8, theagency8.com, you can check it out. We brought on this client. It's a celebrity client. This person hired us because they're putting on an event. And so we're actually creating, this person is a celebrity chef, and we're creating an email opt-in where you're going to receive free recipes from this individual while they're upselling to this event. So that is a great way. As an example, we're going to give all these free recipes from all of this person's celebrity chef friends. We're going to give free recipes from them, and then you're going to opt into that funnel. It's going to be awesome. SMS is another one. So I created a funnel where it's just free inspirational health coaching via SMS. That's another thing you can do. A blog, of course, adding value there. I have a blog on susansly.com. The key thing with this value is you've got to be consistent because you're teaching people to show up at certain times. And so another thing you can do is micro content. So on Instagram, as an example, you can do like a health tip, and then for people to want to see more, they have to click a link. They end up on your blog. That's a great thing to do. So bringing them from social media right into content that you can control and deploy. You can do micro content on LinkedIn as well, or you can do full LinkedIn articles. 96% of the content that the transactions that happen on LinkedIn are B2B, business to business. So, you know, if you are a B2C person, business to consumer, having LinkedIn presence is good, but maybe, you know, your people, your tribe are more on Facebook. That's why it's so important to have a Facebook business page so you can boost and optimize that content. I can tell you more about that in another show, or, you know, on Instagram. All right, so adding that free content. The second thing is picking your niche. So when you're creating your unique value proposition, what is the niche you're in? And so first you're going to pick your macro niche. So your macro niche might be weight loss. It might be accounting. It might be law. It might be life coaching. And so picking this macro niche and then deciding what the hashtags are in that macro niche. So for example, if I'm writing something on digital marketing is the macro niche. And what value am I providing? So giving the free tips, the free strategies, the emails, the content, how to optimize for people who want to build a business digitally. So that's a macro niche. Now, tip number 3 in your unique value proposition is what is your micro niche? And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. So I'll give you a great example. So let's say your macro niche was makeup. Your micro niche might just be lipsticks, or it might be lipsticks for millennials, or it might be lipsticks for Gen Z. Who is a master of this? Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner, with her company, I think she did almost $1 billion in like 2.5 years. She built a massive following on social media, on Snapchat, Instagram, you know, doing her makeup. She really made her lips the focus of a lot of her photos. I can't even replicate them, but you know, you get the idea. Smart marketing. And then when she came out with her lip kits, who were they targeted at? They were targeted at Gen Z, teenagers, and it was a micro niche in a macro niche, and that's why she did so well. So let me give you an example. If you're Hadass and you are a weight loss coach and that's your macro niche is weight loss coaching, and you've surveyed people and you really feel passionate to work with menopausal women, then your micro niche might be menopausal women in Edmonton, Alberta, who want to lose weight. So you can choose a macro niche by location, by gender, by age demographics, by all sorts of different things. So at my digital agency, I have a division that's just for people in the U economy. And U economy people, 71% of them, it's a side income. So they might be a teacher by day, a wedding photographer at night, and that is a micro niche. So digital marketing is the macro niche. The U economy is the micro niche. Does that make sense? Just to, hopefully it does say yes. And then we have another division of the agency that is just for startups. And so these startups are, doing their startup thing, and there's a specific amount of money they have to spend to come and work with us, specific toolkit they get, and so on. So I know a woman, she has a digital marketing agency. I think they do about, I don't know, maybe $15-16 million a year. And her macro niche is digital marketing. Her micro niche are tech companies that do between, I think it's 500,000 and 1.5 million a year. I don't know, it's in that range, but they're tech companies in that very specific micro niche. So you can do that. And if you look at anyone who's making a significant amount of money in the online world, they're creating a value proposition in a micro niche. So there are lots of people you can think about that do that. And you may be saying, oh my gosh, narrowing my focus. Well, a great saying goes like this: if you try to sell to everyone, you end up selling to no one. So a lot of people start with a macro niche, a micro niche, and then from there, they get the raving fans, and that begins to grow. So a great example of this is Oprah. When Oprah had her daytime syndicated talk show, her macro niche, she's got her syndicated talk show. She's offering different strategies in all areas of your life. And then her micro niche was really, she started micro niches in all of these very, very specific areas: home decor, health, and she brought in experts. I'm going to talk about that in my next tip. So in my next tip, tip number 4 is, who do you know? So it's really important when you're creating your unique value proposition that you understand that who you associate with is really going to be what elevates your brand. So let me give you an example. So if you, and I got this tip from Dennis Yu, I'll talk about Dennis in a minute. So I want you to, in the middle of your paper, draw a circle and just put your name in the circle. And then I want you to draw, it's like a hub, and then 6 spokes. So you choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You choose 6 areas that you would like to be well known in. And so let's use Hadass as an example. She's an agency client. So in the middle, she writes her name, Hadass. And then, so let's say Hadass really, she wants to brand herself as the menopause expert of Canada, as an example. So one aspect of menopause is going to be hormones. So she writes hormones. So who does Hadass know who's a hormone expert? So she's going to write that person's name. One spoke might be exercise. So who does Hadass know who's an exercise expert? So she does all this all the way through. So one of the ways that I've been able to grow my personal brand with my unique value proposition is to look at who I know in these areas. So let me give you an example. In the area of social media optimization, Dennis Yu. Dennis is the world's foremost Facebook marketing expert. Dennis is a friend of mine. In fact, I was with Dennis last week. As I mentioned, we're both speaking at the same event. I did a video with him. I just sent it to him just before coming on here. Dennis goes, okay, I want to have one of my team optimize this. I'm like, excellent, because he knows how to optimize it for certain things. I do not. So he's like, where'd you post it? What'd you do? Let's go, right? And so Dennis is an expert there. In that same social media spoke, I know people like Marcus Murphy, who's a LinkedIn expert, Connor Blakely, who is a Instagram Gen Z expert. So I know a lot of people in that one area. So whether Neil Patel, SEO, just had Neil on my show. So when I bring them on to my show, or I link to their content, then that paints me as an expert by association. Does that make sense, everybody? So I don't have to say, oh, Susan Sly is a social media expert. Susan Sly is known in the area of social media because of who she associates with. Does that make sense? So if another one is digital marketing. So I have several friends, Dobbin Buck, Robin Robbins, different people who, Ryan Dice, who are massively successful in the digital marketing space. So I put all of them on that area. Then there's the startup space. I'm working on a new book for the startup space. And so I have a friend and he has a startup incubator. It's about $150,000 to take your startup through there. And they do about 3 ventures a month. So I know him, I know their CFO, I'm having coffee with him this week. So that's another space, right? So it's understanding, you know, as you decide who you're going to present yourself with, that if you want to change it like that, change who you're associating with. And if you don't know that person, let me give you some ninja tricks. You can reach out. Let's say, you know, Hadass. So Hadass wants to be a health expert for menopausal women. And she's like, okay, what do menopausal women need? And so she has these different spokes and, you know, around her hub. And she may say, reach out to someone who's a hormone expert and go, can I link to your blog? What most people will do is say, totally yes, and say, hey, thanks for letting me link to your blog. Would you mind sharing my blog with your followers? Now, not everyone will, especially if it's not well written or you're not well known yet. But if it's well written, it's tagged appropriately, you're not selling a lot, you're giving a ton of free content, most experts will. So that is going to allow you to elevate your brand by association, and that elevates your value proposition. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. All right, and it doesn't matter what area you want to be known in. You know, when I can give you time and time again in any business that I built that I created those models. And so I have one of those models for each one of my businesses. So as president of Radius AI, which is the AI company that I work with, then, you know, okay, what do I need here? So I need to have an expert in edge processing. I need to have an expert in artificial intelligence, an expert in data science. So outside of my own circle of the staff that work at Radius, I'm creating these associations, creating these relationships so that I can elevate myself, because people are like, huh, how did you end up president of an AI company? But what you don't know is back in the early 90s, I was doing facial quantification algorithms that I was quantifying myself and writing code. So I'm just coming full circle, but because I've been out of that for decades now, I'm elevating my personal value proposition by who I'm associated with. And that's why tomorrow I take a certification course at MIT. Again, that's going to help in that. So hopefully, I know that's pretty high level stuff, but this is stuff you pay a branding expert for. So I like to give it to you for free. The last thing is your authentic persona. It is so, so key. You know, you look at a celebrity like Lady Gaga. When Lady Gaga first came on the scene, music, Red Ocean, female pop star, yawn, there's lots of them. But there she was wearing a meat dress. There she was wearing this haute couture. There she was, my name is Lady Gaga, always wearing sunglasses. It was her persona. And you may say, well, I don't want to be as extreme as Lady Gaga. You know, I'll give you another example. So the church I go to, our lead pastor, Pastor Travis Hearn, he's the lead pastor for the Phoenix Suns. He has this big old beard. That's his persona. He doesn't dress up. He wears sneakers. You know, he's always wearing jeans. He's just like a chill dude. And that's his authentic persona. Tony Robbins. I've done speaking events where Tony's also speaking. He's always wearing black. He's wearing one of those Live Lucky ball hats. That's just who he is. And I promise you, if you go to any one of his events, no matter where in the world you are, he's always dressed the same. He's commanding the room the same. That's his unique persona. And I'll just finish with this 2 quick thoughts. One is, you know, for years, you know, personally, and I don't mind being so transparent because I know this podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, it goes out all over the world. I was not living into my authentic, unique self. And so I didn't feel comfortable, but there was a pivot in my life where it was just one person. It was a man who said, you know, you are so hard and edgy. And I took it really personally. So I started wearing pink dresses, even though that wasn't me. Like I was wearing dresses almost every day. And one day I looked in the mirror, I'm like, who are you? I was raised by a single dad. I was a tomboy. I can still wear a dress. I was at my friend's wedding Saturday night. I was wearing a dress. But I had to start living into my authentic self. So my authentic persona, when you see me on a stage, generally speaking, I'm wearing, you know, pants or trousers, depending where you're watching. Sometimes a more feminine top. I'm wearing 6-inch heels because I love myself a good high heel. And that's just me. And I feel like that as we live into our authentic self, whoever Hadass or Pat or Brian or Linda, whoever it is you are, as you're living into that authentic you, then more people, the right followers are going to show up and buy into your value proposition because they're not going to sense something weird or crazy is up with this person. And you actually don't want, it's not about winning as many followers as you can. It's about having the right followers. And I know many, many people who you might not see that they have like thousands of friends on Facebook or a fan page with hundreds of thousands of followers, but they make millions and millions of dollars because they've realized that by niching down, they can actually grow a massive business because they're attracting the right people. So the last thing I want to say to you is, you know, from my heart, you are amazing. Put yourself out there in the world. There are lots of people who would love to do business with you. Figure out what your value proposition is. Use my tips today. Be consistent, add free value, figure out your niche, then niche down, you know, associate with the right people, figure out what those 6 areas are, and then just go for it and keep me posted. So I read all of your comments on Bulletproof Monday. If this has been amazing, please go ahead and share it, comment on it. I would love it. And again, if you want my notes, I am 2 weeks behind, I will tell you, go to susansly.com and sign up for the newsletter and I will get them out to you. So with that, God bless, go rock your day, and I will see you next Monday. Goodbye, everyone.